Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're looking at a hidden, but honestly an incredibly urgent threat facing homes right in our own backyards. If you live in Amboy, or really anywhere in Lee County, Illinois, you already know exactly how the air feels when late spring rolls around. But what you might not realize is how that exact climate is quietly working against your home's structural integrity, and more importantly, your family's health. Today, we're breaking down the Amboy and Lee County Mold Remediation Guide.
Think about our local geography for a second. The Rock River sits less than 10 miles to the north, and the Green River runs right through the corner of the county. Now, combine that rich river bottom soil with the fact that most of the housing stock east of Main Street was built long before air sealing was ever a standard building code. Throw in our famously humid Illinois summers, and you've got the absolute perfect recipe for mold. In pre-1950 housing across Amboy, Dixon, and Sublette, mold problems aren't just rare, unlucky occurrences. They're totally routine.
But here's the thing. This isn't just a maintenance headache. It is a major legal and financial hurdle. In the state of Illinois, when you sell a house, mold absolutely has to be disclosed. It's a strict legal requirement, not just a polite courtesy. If you have a mold issue, it's a high-stakes real estate problem that will inevitably come to light during a transaction.
Which brings us to a kind of unsettling question. What exactly is growing in the dark behind your walls before you ever even see a spot? Here's the part most homeowners simply don't realize. By the time you can actually see a dark spot on your drywall, or by the time you catch that sharp, musty odor in a closet, well, that mold colony has already been actively growing in the dark for weeks. It's thriving right now behind the baseboards, under the carpet padding, or right on the backside of your cabinet kick.
So, what should you actually be looking out for? Well, this homeowner checklist is absolutely vital. The physical signs in your house often perfectly mirror the physical symptoms in your own body. You might notice dark spots on the drywall, peeling paint, or water stains, accompanied by a musty smell. But please pay really close attention to the human toll here. Persistent coughs that just don't match any normal cold cycle, unexpected asthma flares, brand new eczema outbreaks, or stubborn sinus infections.
Moving right along to Section 1, Health and Real Estate Hazards.
Let's look at what the CDC and the Illinois Department of Public Health actually classify as real, documented health hazards. First up, we have Stachybotrys charodon. You probably know it as black mold. This produces dangerous mycotoxins linked to chronic respiratory issues, terrible headaches, and in severe cases, neurological symptoms. Then you've got your more common, but still incredibly aggressive allergens. Aspergillus, which causes severe sinus infections, Cladosporium, triggering those persistent coughs and eczema, and Penicillium, which is notorious for sparking severe asthma flares.
And we really need to be clear about who's taking the brunt of these toxic invaders. The most vulnerable populations living in our Lee County homes are kids, seniors, anyone suffering from asthma, and anyone with a compromised immune system. For these groups, a hidden mold colony isn't just an annoyance, it's an active daily threat to their well-being and safety.
But hey, the damage isn't just limited to human lungs. Let's talk structure. Mold literally eats your house. It happily consumes drywall paper, subfloor adhesive, wood framing, and attic insulation. If you leave it alone for just one humid Illinois summer, a small water intrusion can completely rot out a load-bearing stud bay. When that happens, a very manageable $2,500 remediation quickly balloons into a massive $25,000 structural reconstruction.
Now let's see how this snowballs into a real estate nightmare. Remember that Illinois disclosure law we talked about? An undisclosed mold issue that suddenly surfaces during a buyer's home inspection can completely kill your real estate deal on the spot. And even if it doesn't kill the deal entirely, it will absolutely trigger a massive price renegotiation, which often ends up costing the seller tens of thousands of dollars.
Let's move into Section 2, the DIY bleach danger.
Okay, let's debunk the ultimate DIY myth right now. Bleach. The myth says that a cheap bottle of bleach from the local hardware store will completely kill mold on any surface. But the scientific reality? It's far different. On porous surfaces, bleach literally only removes the color. It bleaches the stain out, making it look clean, but it actually leaves the fungal colony fully alive underneath. Even worse, the water content in that bleach solution carries the surviving mold spores deeper into the material. Those hardware store sprays are formulated for simple surface stains, not for active remediation.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this. Every single time you attempt to scrub active mold without proper professional containment, you're just launching millions of invisible spores right into the air, and where do they go? Straight into your home's HVAC return, which then neatly spreads the colony to every other room in the house. This right here is exactly how a $1,500 localized problem turns into a $15,000 whole home disaster.
Section 3. The 5-step certified remediation process.
This brings us to the professional solution. This is the comprehensive, certified 5-step process. This exact protocol is what separates a legitimate, safe remediation from a dangerous paint-over job that's just going to come back to haunt you later.
Step 1 is inspection. Pros don't just eyeball it, they use real science. They deploy calibrated moisture meters, infrared thermal imaging, and lab-tested air samples. These tools are so crucial because they find every active colony, including those hidden ones trapped behind walls and under floors that you couldn't possibly see on your own.
Step 2 is containment. This is what prevents that HVAC disaster we just talked about. Experts use heavy-duty 6mm poly sheeting, zipper doors, and HEPA-filtered negative air machines. By doing this, the entire work zone gets physically pressurized. That ensures that when the cutting and scrubbing actually starts, those toxic spores absolutely cannot drift into the clean, safe rooms of your house.
Step 3 is removal. Think of this as a surgical operation. Porous materials that just can't be saved, like infected drywall, carpet, insulation, ceiling tiles, they're cut out and carefully sealed in heavy-duty containment bags. Then, the salvageable surfaces, like your home's structural lumber, are meticulously HEPA vacuumed, scrubbed, and treated with really powerful EPA-registered antimicrobials.
Step 4 is drying, because you can't just remove the mold, right? You have to remove the environment that let it thrive in the first place. Using commercial dehumidifiers and high-velocity air movers, the team dries the area completely. And they don't pack up their trucks until moisture meter readings prove the wall cavity is dry to below a 16% wood moisture content. That 16% is key. It's a highly measurable, documentable threshold, not just some contractor's best guess.
And finally, Step 5, post-remediation verification. This is a third-party clearance air test that results in a written lab-back record. This specific document is exactly what insurance carriers require, and it's exactly what Illinois real estate agents and buyers lenders are going to demand to close a deal and officially prove the home is safe.
That brings us to our final part, Section 4, securing your free inspection. The experts at Mold Remediation Hotline operate right here locally, covering Amboy, Dixon, Sublette, Lee, and Ashton. They intimately understand how the Illinois climate attacks our specific local construction. They know firsthand that the pre-war foundations on Main Street breathe through unsealed crawl spaces. They know the mid-century ranches on South Lincoln trap moisture in shallow attics. And they know the new builds off Route 52 rely on vapor barriers that easily get punctured. Basically, they know your house.
And the perks of calling their hotline are really designed to take the stress entirely off your shoulders. They offer free phone consultations and absolutely free on-site inspections when you have active water damage. They're available for 24/7 emergency response. They coordinate directly with your insurance carrier so you aren't stuck fighting for coverage alone. And crucially, they provide that official clearance documentation you need to satisfy disclosure laws and successfully sell your home.
So, I want to leave you with a high-stakes question to really chew on. Is your home hiding a deal-killing secret in the dark right now? Are those persistent coughs your family keeps getting just a stubborn cold, or are they actually a warning sign coming from behind your drywall?
Look, don't wait to find out the hard way. If you even suspect mold, you need to act before a $2,500 issue rots your framing and turns into a $25,000 disaster. Call the Mold Remediation Hotline right now at 332-220-0303 for your free inspection. Don't let mold compromise your family's health, ruin your home's structural integrity, or kill your real estate sale. Call 332-220-0303 today and get the certified experts on your side.